Literally following the events of the previous episode, Colonel O'Neill approaches General Hammond as he destroys classified documents. The commander tells Jack that before being assigned to Stargate Command, he was only 1 month away from retiring for good, but he wanted to do one last thing to be proud of. The Colonel tries to convince Hammond once again to keep the program running, and the General strongly agrees with him, but he cannot do anything about it since it would be the equivalent to high treason. Besides, he already pulled all the connections he had, even personally begging Kinsey to change his mind, but he was rejected all the same. Jack returns to SG-1 and tells them that they are on their own. The men agree to go to the coordinates that Daniel brought with him from the alternate reality. Captain Carter, however, has some concerns regarding the court-martial that she and Colonel O'Neill would have to go through, but he reminds her that the question is about if they return. Despite the danger, SG-1, agreeing that this is their only chance of preventing the attack on Earth, band together. They activate the Stargate, make sure it's safe with the MALP unit, and, after preventing the Air Force of intervening, step through the gate to bring the war to Apophis, while General Hammond witnesses their actions. Coming out on the other side, SG-1 find themselves in some sort of storage room. Colonel O'Neill orders Dr. Jackson to return the MALP to Earth, while the rest of SG-1 investigates the cargo and find a new kind of weapon. Tiak says that these handguns are called Zet-Nikitils, usually used for stunning by painfully overloading the victim with electrical energy. However, shooting someone for a second time is lethal. Jack finds the name too complicated though and renames them to Z-Guns. Suddenly, the team find themselves on the floor when something happens, and Tiak advises to return to Earth immediately, but for some reason the Stargate stopped working. Before they can think about what's going on, a unit of Jafar enter the room and place some sort of crystal ball within the gate prior to leaving again. Tiak tells them that the ball is a long-distance visual communication device similar to a television, so O'Neill gives the order to leave and find out where exactly they are. Meanwhile, back on Earth.
Sir, Colonel O'Neill saved my butt more than once. I'd like to go in and back him up.
I can't send your unit in.
My men and I are willing to take the risk, sir.
I'll take that under advisement, Major.
SG-1 proceeds to silently infiltrate and find a Goa'uld sarcophagus, but they cannot pay much attention to it as they figure out where exactly they are. They are in hyperspace within a Goa'uld mothership. Tiak says that he didn't notice it before because he's never been on one that large, and that most ships have vastly different accelerations. Also, ships usually don't have stargates. Out of nowhere, they are ambushed by a lonely Jafar, but Samantha quickly kills him with his gun. The former First Prime shoots the corpse for a third time, disintegrating it completely. Colonel O'Neill asks him if he could fly the ship, but Tiak states that he cannot be certain. He's only been trained in handling death gliders, and this vessel seems to be made with new technology. Not wanting to be caught off guard again, SG-1 decides to move forward. By avoiding the patrols, they find a death glider bay, and Captain Carter is confused as to why they're getting ready, considering that it should take at least a year to reach Earth, even when considering the distance to Abydos. They are distracted when the troops are called to the storage room with the Stargate, where the sarcophagus is being brought to as well. SG-1 sneaks into the meeting and listens to Apophis as he announces the destruction of the Tauri. Although Ray isn't quite done yet, as he relinquishes command to his son who rises from his chamber. And it's revealed that it's none other than Skaara, now known as Chlorel. Here I thought, hey, let's do some mythology, but Chlorel never appeared in Earth mythology, so I'm afraid we'll have to skip the history class as there's no history to teach. Colonel O'Neill orders the team to split up. He and Tiak will go and kidnap Chlorel, while Carter and Jackson need to sabotage the ship by putting C4 on everything that looks vulnerable. Quickly said and done, the Colonel and the Jafar ambush Chlorel. The two quickly take care of the Serpent guard guarding the Goa'uld, with Tiak swiftly disabling the host's hands. O'Neill seals the room so that they can get some private time. In that moment, Jack tries to get through to Skaara. The Colonel gets angry with the Goa'uld and utilizes some good old electroshock therapy. And it seems to work for a while. Skaara asks for his friend's forgiveness before Chlorel regains control. And at the same time, the Jaffa storm the bridge. Being forced to surrender, O'Neill and Tiag relinquish their weapons. The Goa'uld orders for the two to be stunned and captures them. In the meantime, Daniel and Sam succeed in their mission as they sabotage the Death Glider Bay and proceed to move to more vital spots. Chlorel brings them before the communication device to present them to his father. Carter and Jackson, who happen to be there as they rig the sarcophagus, listen in. Ray is like, "Yo son, good job, I'm really proud of you. Now do me a favor and torture them to death, will ya? See ya!" But thanks to Jack still trying to talk to Skaara, Chlorel suddenly makes the weird choice of merely detaining them. Sam and Daniel decide to free the two, but in order to prepare for their own capture, they set a 24-hour timer to the C4. The Goa'uld shows them to the bridge, asking them if they want to go home, to which the Colonel of course responds with yes. He soon regrets those words as the mothership drops out of hyperspace and arrives within our solar system. Earth picks up the arrival and Hammond takes immediate measures to prepare for the two ships' arrival. Wait, there are two? Oh boy, this ain't good. Back on the ships, the rescue operation begins and thanks to the prisoners' help, they kill Chlorel's guards once more. In the heat of battle, the Goa'uld catches Daniel off guard and begins to slowly and very painfully kill him with his mighty slap hand. O'Neill is forced to make a choice. Will he save Daniel and kill Skaara, or will he let him die and kidnap the Goa'uld instead? Hesitating for as long as he can, Jack pulls the trigger and shoots his former companion. The episode ends as SG-1 stands amidst a mountain of corpses on a raided bridge, looking at Earth while the Jaffa prepare to invade the planet. And that was the 21st and final episode of the first season of Stargate SG-1. This season ends with one of the strongest episodes yet, and even though it ends on a cliffhanger, is pretty much mandatory to watch if you're into Stargate. There are some questionable things, like Z-guns being able to completely erase something if shot a total amount of 3 times, like how long do the effects last, why does a stun weapon have this effect, how much time needs to pass in between each shot, etc. But overall, it is now established as a rule in the Stargate universe and these answers are never explained, nor does the show ever attempt to do so. So, for me, I can live with it. Nonetheless, this episode is great and a worthy finale to SG-1's very first season. To finish it off, I hope you had an enjoyable time watching. I will stop making YouTube content from now on unless I decide to come back in 2021, which is, as of right now, unlikely, thanks to YouTube's policies, or rather the lack thereof. And that's not even counting for the absolute lack of any communication, but that's a different topic. With that in mind, I wish you, dear viewer, a good day and perhaps a good year. Have a good one.